8 months ago, George Floyd's death was seen around the world. It inspired protests, soul-searching, and in one woman's case, a challenge. She called it the 15% pledge because black people make up roughly 15% of the total population. Their businesses, she said, should take up 15% of store shelves. Her idea grew into a bit of a movement, and since June, 18 major companies have signed on. Tonight, as we celebrate Black History Month, Frank Holland checks in on the pledge and its progress.
Say his name!
George Floyd!
Say his name!
George Floyd!
Outraged by the killing of George Floyd, entrepreneur Aurora James wanted to see real progress towards racial equality.
I've always really seen, the inequality that's existed, and I think enough is enough.
James watched an outpouring of corporate statements from big retailers, big tech, and other big businesses in support of the black community, but she was skeptical.
We support you, we stand with you, but what does that really mean? To me, I need accountability, I need contracts, I need representation, I need actual investment.
So James went to Instagram with a call to action. She named it the 15% Pledge.
Nearly 15% of the population in America is black. The pledge is calling on major retailers to commit 15% of their purchasing power to black-owned businesses. We're asking for long-term investment in black founders and black communities.
Within days, the social media movement became a nonprofit. So far, 18 companies have taken the pledge. That includes The Gap, which announced today a commitment that applies to all of its brands, including Banana Republic and Old Navy. James says much more than shelf space should be under scrutiny.
That 15% metric of the black population in America can be applied in a million different ways, depending on what your business is.
Yelp doesn't have shelves, but in August took the pledge, creating a special icon for black-owned businesses and extending that 15% commitment to community functions, internal events, and social media.
The best thing we can probably do as Yelp is to be a beacon of light to other companies to say, shelf space isn't the only way to do this. And one of the things that we saw last summer was a 6,500% increase in searches for Black-owned businesses. So people want to exercise their purchasing power in line with their own values.
So what is this? Is this a scarf?
It's a square scarf.
Artist and designer Jen Hewitt benefiting from the recent focus on black business and a boost from Yelp social media.
My business actually grew 60% last year, so I've had a lot more eyeballs on my work. Now I can't keep anything in stock.
You are obviously very fortunate during this time, but there's a lot of other black-owned businesses that aren't as fortunate. What do you think the 15% pledge would mean for them?
Oh my gosh, I think it would mean the difference between survival and having to fold.
We checked in on the companies that took the pledge early on. So far, Sephora says it's on track to double its number of black-owned brands from 8 to 16 by the end of 2021. Rent the Runway increased the number of black and person of color-owned brands on its site from 4 to 11% and boosted their existing investments in black designers like Kahindo, whose order from Rent the Runway grew 20% since the company took the pledge.
Because of Rent the Runway, 2020 was my first year as a profitable business. The 15% pledge, what it really does, it's kind of evens the playing field. It lets, retailers know that we do exist, we are here, and we are producing beautiful products that women would love if we just had the chance to be in front of them.
James sees progress, but says there is still a long way to go.
We are not asking them to do this overnight. It's not possible to do overnight, and we are all going to have to be working on this in a very real way together.
So as we mentioned, The Gap, including its Banana Republic brand, the latest company to take the 15% pledge. So far, it's really been beauty and style brands taking the lead. But now, Aurora James is calling on all industries, including finance, tech, even the grocery business, to take the 15% pledge. Shep?
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.